You'd walk,
It was,
walk the rail to the railroad track to get to school.
it was like, I don't know how to describe it. It was just school. I remember that. We used to walk to school.
Now, Uncle Lester was older than you, wasn't he?
Yeah, but they kept him home so I could be there, so I could take care of him. Isn't that ridiculous?
So you could take care of him.
Yeah, because Mom said, well, boys don't know how to take care of him. I said, oh, Mama, shut up, please. So she kept his Lester home until I went to school in Washington. That's
You mean he didn't start until you were ready?
So I could take care of him. So I could take care of him.
Okay, well, just pull it out. No, she was afraid of falling break.
No, I'm afraid it doesn't pick up as good as it.
What else do you remember about? Well, the house that you were living in, is that where Uncle Tim used to live? The house you were talking
Well,
about?
house,
By the levee?
he's still gay.
That's where Grandma said that's where they lived.
That was
when
the
they first got
little
married.
one-room school they had right at
Oh, the school, one more there.
yeah,
At Glengarry. That would be.
yeah.
Yeah. But the house you lived in, was that the one that Mom and them first started when they first got married? That's where they lived?
The first house?
Yeah. That big two-story house of Uncle Tim, where they had a room upstairs and rooms downstairs.
I remember us going to school from that little one-room schoolhouse. That's what I remember. That's all I remember there.
But you don't remember the house, exactly what house it was?
We had a house. We had a house that we lived in.
I know, they lived in that house of Uncle Tim when they first got married. So that's probably the same house.
Well,
And
yeah.
then later on, we moved to that little red house down, where is
I
it?
just remember going to school and walking the railroad tracks all in here red. You know, because of weeds.
But I remember this little house down there, that red house. I stayed in there from the time I was born, I guess, until I was about 6 years old. In this red house, that little red house, you know. You remember when you turned in there and we all fell out the truck? We were still living in that red house.
What was that story?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Myrl drove somewhere. She had the truck and she went down to Empire Beer somewhere. And we
I didn't
come
know
back.
about trucking and running. I knew how to make it go, but I didn't tell me how to stop. So I had to run into the house to stop.
Oh my gosh.
She turned into the what's it called, the ditch. I believe you went in the ditch, didn't you?
Yeah, I could just let it run into the house till it stopped.
And did you-
Well, I was moving around open so that I would stop the car.
when y'all came rolling out the door?
It seemed like I was in the back and I come rolling out the door. I was just about 5 years old at that time. And we were staying in that old house. And I don't remember just what was going on. I was young, but I remember she turned in there and boy,
He was a spoiled brat.
I was spoiled.
I used to work. I was a workhorse.
Well, I was only 5 years old.
You didn't like I wasn't much older than you.
Oh no, he was 8. He was 8 and I was 0. When you got to be 18, that's when you got married at 18 and I was 10. So you were still 8 years old ahead of me.
I don't remember that.
You were 8 years older than me.
But I remember you getting, I used to call your mama's little cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but girl, you know how boys do. You gotta do more for us. I said, why? Way up high graduated then.
Yeah, but you talking about Lester now. You're not talking about me. You talking about Lester. Lester was higher than you.
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about last time.
Well, I'm not Lester.
Well, you're one of us.
I'm one of you, you're right.
Well, that's right. And that's even worse. I had to babysit you and I was the,
Well, I don't know, but I went to school at Dearest, but I don't remember Myrl at school at all. I don't know, did you go while I was going to school at all?
I went to school in that little one-room
No,
house.
but I mean down in Dearest. You graduated from Dearest. You graduated from Dearest, right? You graduated from Dearest. Yeah, that was in,
So I
I think, because I don't remember going to school with Myrl, and I'm pretty sure she graduated down there the same year.
Did you go to school all the way through yours? Or was there another school?
No.
one-room school.
Yeah, but when you stopped there, then you went to New Orleans. You went to the school down there for a while, and then you went to New Orleans. Did you go to New
Yeah,
Orleans?
well, that was a while after though.
Yeah. But how long you stayed in New
I
Orleans?
had to make my communion, that's why I had to go to New Orleans.
Oh, just
to
for
get your communion down there, you didn't have no priest.
But you went to Jewish school for a long time, because I remember in high school you were playing basketball. You got a picture of you playing basketball. But I don't remember.
Were you a pretty good basketball player?
Huh?
Were you a good basketball player?
I was, yeah, I had my little shorts and my hopping around there like,
Yeah.
I was,
We had that picture for a long
and
time.
very.
Well, you said there wasn't a Catholic priest down there for First Communion. Did y'all have to go to New Orleans for First Communion, or could y'all go down to yours for First Communion?
Hospital.
No, for First Communion.
We came to town to make our communion. We stayed with my aunt, one of them, Aunt Maisie, or one of them.
Yeah.
And his daughter was jealous of me, and she hit me over the head with a lamp, and Aunt Maisie's daughter there, and I just walked out and tried to hit her back, because I knew she was the queen bee there. So,
Well, she must have been awfully young.
Huh?
She must have been a lot younger than you. Aunt Maisie's daughter was a lot younger than you.
that was when they were, it was young, they were young.
Yeah.
But, I remember, I was mad enough at her 2 or 3 times, and I knew I couldn't do anything, because I had to stay. Mama wanted me to make my communion, so I had to stay to make my communion, and I had to take all her bull. Oh, I was mad. She was a spoiled brat, and couldn't stand it, but I had to grin and bear.
That's Margie Lou, that's not Margie Lou.
Huh?
Is that Margie Lou?
Margie Lou, no, it wasn't Margie Lou, it was,
But that's the only one they had. That's the only girl that they had there. If you stayed with Aunt Lou, that was the only girl they had.
I don't remember too much about all that, but I do remember her hitting me on the head with all her hands. And I had to take it, I couldn't hit her back, because my mama wanted me to make my communion, so I had to stay and make my communion.
But you-
And then Lucy, when she came in and put her 2 bits, like, if I was you, I'd pack her up and send her home, and she didn't even know what had happened or what was going on. Aunt Lucy, Aunt Lucy. She was your little pet. She had you. But nobody had me. I was a loner.
Well, I don't know which one you talking about, but Margie Lou is the only girl there. Might have been, maybe it was Aunt Tweed, because Aunt Tweed was kind of rough. Wasn't Aunt Tweed?
Aunt Tweed used to get well, she never used to do anything to me, because she used to get
Yeah.
aggravated a lot. But she was working and she was tired. I never been sassy and go outside like Papa and put
What do you remember about Grandpa Lincoln? your grandpa?
Yeah, I like Grandpa. We were like, he was, he used to sit on the front porch and talk a lot, and he was smart too. And I enjoyed all of that. And Grandma, she was a groucho too. We'd sit out there and we'd talk and I'd ask him all kinds of questions and he'd tell me all kinds of things. And she hollered time for y'all to go to bed and all that. I wanted to tell her to shut up so bad, but I knew I couldn't do that.
Yeah, we've always liked Grandpa Lincoln, he was smart, you know, and stuff.
Do you remember any stories that Grandpa Lincoln told you about the family or when he was growing up or anything like that?
The doors open, yeah, everybody had their doors open. Is that what she told us? No, that's not, that wasn't
Maybe
her.
if you said he, you think we
No, I think you'd be better off sitting there because you know more about it.
because Myrl's ears been kind of messed up.
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have
Well,
any?
I got fluid right through.
No, you asked for something.
Yeah, do you remember any stories that Grandpa Lincoln told you about his family or his daddy or
I
grandparents or
don't remember
anything?
at the time, but I don't remember.
Okay.
But I like Grandma. And Grandma, she was a grouch for me.
Well, did Grandpa ever talk about his sisters?
His what?
His sisters? He
Yeah,
had.
Aunt Tweety, Lou, Aunt Maisie, that's all his sisters.
No, that was, that Grandpa, that was Grandpa's children. Aunt Maisie and them are Grandpa's children.
Oh, his, no, I remember Aunt Maisie and Aunt Lou and Aunt Tweety and,
But he was talking about the sisters, Grandpa's sisters. You remember one of them coming to New Orleans? One of them coming to New Orleans, she could talk, but she couldn't hear. You remember the one that came to New Orleans? She could talk and she couldn't hear? She came from California. Yeah.
Never heard that.
Oh, no?
No.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Oh, was that Whiting?
Whiting, yeah, Whiting.
Okay. Yeah, I knew she was.
what's that one?
She lived with Aunt Twee and them after Grandpa died. She come there and she stayed with Aunt Twee and Aunt Lou for maybe 10 years. She used to be pretty good with the Ouija board. And boy, she figured stuff out with the Ouija board, you know.
I don't remember.
And, and she died, but she,
But I like Grandpa. He was always used to talk to me, used to tell me things that was interesting to me, you know, that I didn't know and all. Grandma, she was one that was soft.
Well, she was Irish, wasn't she? Did she have an Irish accent? No.
no, she,
There was no colleges then.
no, accent. She had an accent, an Irish accent. But I think they were born here. I think most of the children were born here, the O'Briens.
Yeah, I think they were. I think that would have been, they would probably been like second or third generation.
They might have had an accent, but I didn't catch it too much. But I don't know how long Grandma
I
lived.
remember Hayes,
14, 15?
Hayes,
Yeah, you remember
he
him.
was in that generation.
What do you remember about Hayes?
Hayes.
What do you remember about Hayes? What do you remember about Hayes?
Oh, I remember him. Big and
Big?
red faces,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Well,
I
I
like him for Hayes.
saw him just when he died. He come,
Grandma was a grouch too. But she had enough to make a grouch out there.
Well, was Uncle Hayes a lot like Uncle Tim?
Uncle Hayes. Well, I didn't, he left.
he left and went to Pennsylvania.
But he was there.
I saw him, I didn't know him, but I saw him when he came back from Pennsylvania after his wife died. He'd come down and for about 2-3 years, and he was something out on the lakefront. He had a pretty good job out there. Uncle Hayes.
I don't remember too much about him, but I remember talking to him, you know, he used to talk to me. I used to like to talk to him.
Yeah.
Told Something that my grandma and them, they followed silly music. I had to get it from somebody else.
Aunt Myrl, what year did you get married? Do you remember? Was
Don't
it,
remember.
1933.
Real taping it?
Uh,
Real taping?
24 hours, 10, 34. 34, 33.
Say 1, 2, come.
It was 34, 33.
so it was right at the end of Prohibition?
What is
I
this?
guess it was. Let me see, when did Roosevelt go in? Was that 36 or 32?
I thought it was 32.
32.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, Myrl, they got
What
married.
house is that? She got it? Somebody's
She
name
later
farm.
on to me, and I was 18, she was 18 when she got married, and I was 8.
Okay.
So I was born in 24, that was
Come on.
about 32, I guess about 32.
Okay.
Because Glenda must have been born about 33, right? Glenda.
I don't remember all that. I don't.
Glenda and
What did you say?
Glenda,
Glenda?
your first child.
Yeah, well, she was killed.
Well, that was not, she was 5 years old when she got killed, that was 1940 or 41.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was 41. I had just graduated from school.
Child.
Yeah. I just graduated from school when she was 5 years old. So, if you go back 5 years, and that would be 36. So she was probably born in 36. 36 or 35. And you were probably married at 32. I thought y'all had children quicker. I thought y'all had children faster than that. I thought it would come faster than that.
She ran across the road,
Yeah.
teased and did tease. Someone asked my grandma, and she just looked my way. She ran across.
Well, during Prohibition, do you remember anything that happened during Prohibition? Down in Plaquemines? Prohibition?
Prohibition. Prohibition. Do you remember Prohibition when you had all that
I
stuff
remember
on?
looking up that's all. But I remember of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything where people were bringing alcohol in and things like that during Prohibition?
Yeah, I remember some of that, but I wasn't interested in it, you know, so but I do remember it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What did y'all do when y'all were children for entertainment?
Children, what did we do? We made hopscotch or something.
Hopscotch, yeah.
We didn't do much, we didn't have many toys, I'll tell you that. We just took a stick and made a ring and stuff like that, so.
You didn't play marbles, huh? I remember.
Yeah,
We used to play marbles.
Why don't you take these in and let your mother see them? She'll probably be interested in them.
You wanna play
We have
marbles?
a few pictures.
Here, you can take that one. We'll save this one just in case. But, Donna,
Yeah.
what about once you got older? And did y'all go to dances and things like that when you were a teenager?
When I was a teenager, went to,
You remember going to dance? And I know you won one dance down there. Did you win the prize?
we used to go to dances all the time.
Yeah, good one.
That was the most important part of my life, dances. I loved it.
And you won a contest down there at one of the dances?
Oh, a couple of times, silly little things. But that was, I really did love dancing, and I danced myself crazy. And then I had to get up and pack oranges. That doesn't feel too good.
That's right. That was when you were about 17 when you packed oranges, huh? Or was that after you graduated? Yeah, it might have been after you
We
graduated.
used to pack oranges after I graduated. I didn't have any money. I couldn't go anywhere. We didn't have any money to send it out. I was wishing I could go to college so much, but I knew there was no sense in wishing. It would just make my daddy feel bad. I knew he couldn't afford it. So I went and packed oranges.
Well, when you went to the dances, could y'all drive to the dances, or did y'all have to take the railroad to the dances, or how did you get there? And where were they at? Did they ever have them there in Narren? Or
Did they have any what?
did they have the dances in Narren, or were they
No, they had
someplace else?
Empire and Beers, and Peabody's had it for a while. Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying.
yeah. But at that
Well,
time,
I did.
at that time,
To satisfy any whim, I was having one.
yeah, they had a lot of cars about the time she talked about. When she graduated from school, the cars were down here, they had a good, pretty good road. They hadn't paved it yet, but they had a pretty good road. So they moved
So
around.
they could drive. Okay. Were the dances at night, or did they have them during the daytime, or when were most of the dances?
We used to have dances. We even danced under the tiny ball trees where the grass wouldn't grow. We danced on that slime mud and the boys used to drive up with their car and put the television, not the television,
Radio.
the radio on
Uh-huh.
and dance like fools. We had a good time. We didn't have many fancy things, but we had good time.
But that was mostly at night, though. Most of your big dances
We
was at
danced in
night.
the evening all the time.
Well, would you dance under the china ball trees during the daytime, or not?
Trees, you know, with dance under there, because they would be all shady and the grass would grow, so the mud would be just hard, solid mud. That was our place to dance. And we had a good time. We danced away.
No jitterbugs, though. No jitterbugs.
We had some fancy
Oh,
dances.
yeah? The Lindy Hop, huh?
We
The Lindy Hop.
moved. We moved.
What was that, the Black Bottom, the Lindy Hop?
Yeah, like bottom, you got them, and all this stuff. I had wonderful time in my, I gotta say that, I did some dancing in my life, I really enjoyed it.
Was Uncle Joe a good dancer too?
He could dance, but he would rather go in the bar and play cards. I said, go ahead, but if you're not here when the dance starts, I'm gone. I'm not waiting for you. And I wouldn't if he wasn't. He'd go play cards or something, and he'd watch and he'd come back. If he didn't come back in time, I was gone. I had a good time there. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have dance and there wasn't anything much else to do. And I like to do.
That's great. Well, as you were growing up, when you were real young, what did your daddy do? What did your daddy do?
My daddy had a grocery store.
So he had one from the time you were born all the way until he died? Okay. Was it in the same place, or did it move? Did he at one point did he close up one store and open up a second store?
No, he just had his one store that he had, and he just to colored people and all, wasn't no big deal, but it fed us.
I'll bet. But y'all built a different house, so the store stayed the same place. You just moved houses at one point.
No, we didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
Stayed in our where we were.
Okay.
Until later in well, when he got more prosperous and he bought things and stuff like that, but he kept making money.
What was it that you think that helped him make money? Was there more people moving there around Narren or Port Sulphur, or?
I don't know that did any one thing, but I guess I don't really know why. He made money with these little stores, but I don't know that there was any one big particular thing. But he made some money, and we began to prosper, and that was it. But for a long time we were on Red Bean Road.
Do you remember World War I or World War II? I guess not World War I, but maybe World War II?
Yeah, I remember some of it.
Did that have
I
much?
listened, I lived by the radio there, because Hayes by that time was in the war, and I was lived on her knees praying. He was in the war too.
Mhm.
So,
Do you remember where you were when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor?
yeah, I was at home, and when we heard that, everybody was just glued to the radio to hear the stuff.
It was 41,
That's why
1941.
again, you see that too.
Yeah, but that was a little before my time. I hadn't gone in then.
Huh?
I didn't go into 43. That was 1941. That was,
Do you remember where you were in when Pearl Harbor?
not exactly. I was at home, but I don't remember when it happened. They didn't make no big deal out of it as far as I was concerned. Exactly what happened at the time. But we were still going to school, so it didn't
Oh, I didn't
affect
tell
us
Mom
that much.
anything about it. I was having a fit, I could hear him talking about bringing in the first casualties, and I couldn't even talk about it.
Oh,
See.
It was an awful time.
Do you remember any of the ships that were being shot up down in the Gulf by the Germans, by the submarines? Do you remember hearing very much about that, or hearing very much about the Germans in that area?
That's a terrible thing to have to go through. And then I was worried about that white-head veil.
yeah, well, they had them coming up from Venice, I guess. They bring them in. And I guess they must have had 30 or 40 ships sunk out there during the whole war. And I seen quite a few of them come in. They'd send buses down to pick up the people and they would bring them out. But I don't know exactly how many it is. Now, they probably got a record somewhere how many it is. Now, they said they had places where they come in and they had somebody that was feeding them. One place they said they had Marita bread and all of that stuff that they were getting from people right here. That was kind of in with them, the German.
Yeah. Had y'all seen any or heard anything about them getting any German prisoners or submarines coming up the river or anything like that?
No. I don't think they were running the building.
Okay. Do you remember ever hearing anything about them shooting a torpedo into the seawall?
Jetties, yeah.
Jetties?
Somebody, I think it was Uncle Tim, it might have been Uncle Tim, or I think it was Uncle Tim, said they were in the front of a boat and saw a torpedo just going, but they were coming in around the jetties again, and they saw this torpedo going right in front of the boat. I don't know if it would have hit the jetties or if it was, they were shooting at them probably, and they probably missed it.
Did they have some armaments or anything set up there around Port Sulphur for the war story that you remember?
They brought a bunch of people in, that was about 1940, I guess 1942. And they bivouacked around the community house over there. And I believe Leaf was one of the guys at the time that come in there, but I don't know what they did. They was kind of National Guard or something. I don't know exactly what they were doing.
And then later on they went on down the river.
Did it? Yeah, well, never again.
When you were growing up, what were most of the people doing for spare money?
For spare money? Well, people with the oranges, it was about the only people who had money. Hunting Shopman, when I was going to school, he was the only one that would bring us back and forth. That was 1940 in that area. That he would bring us back and forth sometimes. Other otherwise we had to catch rides from school and that was at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. We were playing with a team that was pretty good, but nobody had cars. None of the boys had cars.
So y'all were hitchhiking
We had
on the
to-
street,
we had to-
back and forth from
right.
Buriston there and.
Right. Sometimes we get home at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. And then we have to walk. Well, we never did have to walk all the way, but a lot of times we walked a good long ways. And they didn't have that many cars down here, but most of the people, they would pick you up, I guess, the way I remember.
Yeah.
And then as we got closer to where we were getting, to where we were winning the games at the end, and sometimes the principal, Mr. Lamb, would bring us up, and 2 or 3 people from down there would bring us up. And a lot of times they had to hustle.
And he told me he sent me a thing saying where he would be.
What's that?
You remember you sent a thing saying where he would be if they had Bill in the first, if you got a letter with Bill in the first paragraph, you will know that that's where he was. And then here I was reading and then I see Bill in the first paragraph and he was on the front line. And I couldn't tell my mama that, I couldn't tell nobody, I had to keep that for myself. So I stayed glued to the television.
Was that the deal?
Not the television.
I guess it was. I don't remember. I know what Myrl was talking about. We had decided to do it like
a code.
Yeah, like a code. You know?
Uh-huh.
And I don't remember exactly when it was done, but we did hit D-Day, so I guess that's what it was. I probably told me down there.
Didn't tell nobody that he was sick, I was having a fit. And I knew he was on the front line, he told me that Bill, and I saw this Bill on this.
Bill, if I knew that, I never would have put it down.
A lot of good that did me, I was scared to death and wanted to see.
Oh, I bet.
But he got through.
Well, back when you were growing up, was there a lot of trapping and hunting?
Tracking, well. My first job, my first job was right after I got out of school, I got a job for $2 a day. And I worked 12 and a half days. At $2 a day, I got $25. That was my big check, and I quit. I was doing trap, and I went to trap at Lester. Lester had a bunch of land out there, so I went out and trapped on halves. And rats were selling from, I think, $1.25. Good rats. Things are going up a little.
Now, rats, you're talking about mink or muskrat?
Muskrats.
Okay.
That was the real top for $1.25. And then as they come down, the smaller rats, the ones that didn't have any fur on them, it might be 50 cents or 25 cents. But we made a few dollars. While I worked, it was about $300, I guess. And then from there, I went to work for Freeport. I played baseball for them, and before I didn't have, I wasn't 18 years old yet. And I played B.F. Winters. B.F. Winters was the coach. And first time I got up, I got a hit. He said, "There you're working." I said, "I'm not working." He said, "Go put your what you call it, resume in with Freeport." So I went over there, and instead of putting May the 2nd, I put March the 2nd. But it wasn't March, it was just a little past March. So I put it in, and he said, "They're gonna hire you." So, but it went, and I got hired. It was a little after May. And later on, I had all kind of mess up where I had put March, and then they wanted to find out. I had to go through all that and straighten it out. So I worked for about 3 months, and then Myrl decided she was going to send me to college. So when she talked to, who you talked to? Who you talked to get me in college, remember? You had talked to somebody, maybe it was Joe. Yeah, Joe and Chester Wooten, he got some kind of little, scholarship. So I went up there and I spent 6 months, about 4.5 months. And heck, I worked at Freeport, I must have made about 49 cents an hour, that's what we were getting, 48 cents an hour. And $4.
4 hours a day?
Yeah.
Almost 4 hours a day, for 8 hours.
49. Yeah, so it wasn't 8 hours, it was what, about $5 a day.
Well, at that would be, if we were working 8 hours, it would be a little bit less than 4 hours.
Anyway, I saved about $300 and I said, man, I'm going to college. And I went and I still had money at the end. I signed up again, and then when I come home, they had sent me the greeting, so I had to go unsigned from LSU.
So that was a draft notice.
That was
The
the
greetings.
draft notice. So that was in February of 43. When I started. So I was about 19 then.
And where'd you go to basic at? Basic was
Side, Camp Side, Alabama. And then I spent a basic there, and then I spent another 2 months with the caddy.
what did you do there during that period of time? Is that where you got into the chemical warfare?
Yeah, that was chemical.
Okay.
I looked like I was going to stay there for a while, but after they organized this outfit in Camp Rock,
And how long was it before you ended up going overseas? Did that happen pretty quick?
So I spent 16 months on this side and 16 months overseas. But I forgot just how much you were. I think I had 2 months. I spent 6 months. Yeah, I spent about 6. We went over pretty quick. It was like, I guess about 7 months probably. We went overseas and then I said 16 months over here. Oh, yeah, 16 months over here, 16 months over there. 32. A little less than 3 years. In the
So you got out, what, 1946?
45, last 45. Right after the Japanese give up. And I was home at the time. I went back, and about 3 weeks later,
What are you doing, boy?
Before the war, what was Uncle Joe doing at that time? Uncle Joe, what was his job? What was he doing? And where did y'all live at the time?
Joe did a lot of gambling at one time. I know he done a lot of gambling, but he had, during the war, did he have Gulf seafood? Did he have Gulf seafood during the war? Yeah, he had Gulf seafood.
Was that just,
I know Joe did a lot of gambling too. Joe gambled for a while. Well, they lived with the Hingles down there. When Myrl and them first got married, they stayed with Joe Hingle's daddy and mother, I guess, or just the mother. The daddy must have died when y'all. Was the daddy dead when y'all got married? Joe Hingle's daddy, was he still living? He was still living. Yeah, he was living. And then Myrl and them, they had an apartment in his building, first part of the building. Right?
where was he living at the time?
Joe?
Yeah.
Joe?
His dad?
His daddy was staying in the building.
With building?
It was a big building,
Is it still there?
no, it got,
So, wasn't it? I wasn't thinking about him at that time, so I don't remember what he was doing.
oh, yeah. But I mean, Joe,
Huh?
y'all stayed with the Hingles in Empire for a while, and then y'all moved across the way in that big house on the other side, that little house.
When you first got married?
I don't remember all that.
Yeah.
Okay. At what point did y'all move to the canal?
When did I move to where?
To Duluth's Canal? To the locks?
To the locks. You was on one side, and then y'all moved around, and y'all moved to that little house on the other side. Remember the little house?
I don't
When,
even
when,
remember.
when Roderick was a baby, you remember he used to go down there? You remember when
Yeah,
Roderick
I
used to?
remember when I was a baby, but I don't remember moving anybody anywhere.
Uh,
Oh, here you come, right?
I remember during the war, I'd come back, remember Uncle Joe? You remember Uncle Joe? Uncle Joe was right next to me. Uncle Joe had, him and Aunt Lola.
I was going to toilet, so I remember
Wait,
that.
Aunt Lola and Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe and Aunt Lola, they lived right next to y'all. And y'all were right next to Uncle Joe and Aunt Lola. You remember he
Yes,
died?
so if you remember, I don't remember that stuff.
I was
But
down.
I remember when they had our outside toilet over a big dish.
But,
So we had a real running water.
I was visiting y'all down there. I believe I got out of, I'm the only, not out of the army, but I come down before I could go overseas. And Uncle Joe died when I was there. Uncle Joe passed away.
Joe, I don't
remember?
I remember him, but I don't remember much about
The
him.
fact is, they brought him into your house. And he was laying on the bed. And Joe,
I remember little body, but I don't remember much.
Uncle Joe called Joe Heenan. Called the priest, and the priest come over, and they,
Everybody get outdoors.
Well, Uncle Joe, it was Joe Hinkle?
Joe Heenan.
Okay, and so he came to his nephew's house, which was Joe Hinkle and
No, this Joe Myrl's husband. That was his house. And Uncle Joe, he died right outside of
This Uncle Joe is also Joe Hinkle.
Oh, yeah, right. Uncle
Okay.
Joe. Uncle Joe is Conovich.
Okay.
Joe
Conovich
Joe
died.
Conovich died.
And Joe Hinkle.
And Joe Hingle, at Joe Hingle's house.
Okay.
And they brought him in, and I had to go across the way for something. But, anyway, they got the priest there, last sacrament. I believe he was dead already. Joe said, don't see him. He figured he was dead.
Yeah.
So for the family, you know, that was the best way to handle it. But he died right there, and I was
Were there any traditions that y'all had as a family? I can kind of vaguely remember.
Yeah, well, the Conovich family, they played a lot of poker and euchre. And that was the big thing. You remember Grandma Conovich? And they'd have all their children in there and they'd play euchre. And they usually took about 3
Yeah,
4 hours.
every evening something.
Right.
And, Mom, Joey, all the family.
Yeah.
And this is, the mother, a hurricane came and it kicked her out of bed, carried her across the river and drowned her.
Who was that?
Yeah, so, can't think of her name now.
Conovich?
She was in bed.
Is that Grandma Conovich?
Huh?
Was it Grandma Konovich that you're talking about?
She was in bed. They go to bed and had one of these little hurricane deals like, picked her out of her bed, carried her across the room and dropped her.
Well, somebody told
They
you?
used to play cards together, grandma and Uncle Joey and all of them.
Was that, did it take the house too? When it took her, did it take the house?
Just how that it picked up the house where the hurricane and picked her up and it carried her across the room and it dropped her on the back.
Now, was that Grandma Konovich? Or was it O'Brien's?
It was, I don't know her name, Miss Joel.
Joe Bear?
Oh, yeah, but I was up in Fort South.
And my mom and them used to play cards with them every Sunday. And take turns and come and mama and, and this little hurricane came through and just picked her up in her nightgown and carried her all the way across the room and dropped her.
I remember what you're talking about there now. And that happened, that must have happened in about Friday. I remember them picking up 3 or 4 houses up in that area. 2 or 3 people in that same area. Well, but she was a good, some kind of relation, I guess, to Grandma. Sometimes they have a party at her house, another time they come down and have a party at Grandma's. Madam Jesus.
I noticed the madam, certain people you call madam and certain people you wouldn't. Why was that?
Madam would be that would be a married woman, huh? Madam? Is that what it is? I call her Madam Judy, but I guess that's because they're married. I don't know if they
Were they French? Could that have been what it was? Okay. In addition to them playing cards, you said they changed places, they would go different places where they play cards, or would they always play at your house?
Most of the time, they play at Grandma's house because at the end, she couldn't get around too much. And most of the children go there and they have their game at her house. But sometimes, like when Daddy would play, they go up to Mount Jules and they play.
Where did Grandma live?
Skin Jeweler stays in the house, right across from Ford. One of the big houses.
So this is Mark Konovich's wife?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Skin Jeweler and them fixed it up and they sold it to his principal.
Mr. Tony?
Yeah, Mr. Tony.
Were there any other traditions that the family had?
Let me see.
Was there any certain foods that they ate at certain times, or did they go out and buy you a lot, or anything like that? Of course, traditions go with the family.
Yeah, during the summertime, Aunt Blanche and Aunt May and Mama, they went to, when was that? Rondé. You remember Rondé? Rondé and Pee-Lou, all that. Pee-Lou, do you remember Pee-Lou?
You mean drunk polluted?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Pee-Lou, yeah. Anyway, we go out to the camp there maybe for 2 or 3 days. One time, and that was, we were real young at the time. We went out there and a storm came in, we didn't know nothing about it. And we stayed through the storm. I don't know if you were out there in the night, well. No, you weren't out there. You were probably married at the time. I guess I was out there. the women were in one camp and the men were in the other camp, and they were about a mile on the other side. So, Mom,
Okay, where we go just a minute?
Ready to go home?
boy, the camp, so hot.
Why were the men in one and the women in the other?
Well, I don't know, but the women left their husbands home.
Who's the boss now? Get
On the other
going.
side.
Show your stripes.
Okay. Well, I guess it's time to conclude it. Maybe we can get back together again later and finish up the discussion.
And one thing about Myrl, I had written something down that the boyfriend would go by and blow. They blow, and I believe it's one horn or two horns or three horns. Remember that? When the boyfriend would go by and blow, and y'all would run and
Oh, yeah. We had a system
yeah.
to let them know it was fast.
They blink the light. Get out of the way, boy. Here they come, man. Boom, boom, boom.
But when they would blow or blink the lights, what would happen? Would they run down the highway to meet them, or?
No, they were passing, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they was.
Took so many times and they know that I know who it was. And they give us them back.
So I said,
Hello, wait, goodbye.
about 5 or 6 of them that blowing over.
We have too many things to amuse ourselves with.
So you put them on the list. So number 6 we hit 6 times, and number 7 we hit 7 times.
Well, boy, one time, boy, they had 3 of them at the same time. And you remember when me and Daddy was looking, listening to the ball game, and you had Joe, and you had Martin, and 3 of them there. Waiting to take one. Go around with Myrl, and she didn't know what to do. So I sat down and listened to the ball game.
Jeanette want to talk about bootleggers?
No, she didn't remember very much of that.
About what?
Okay, well, I guess it's time for us to go. I sure appreciate you talking with us.
I enjoyed it. I didn't have much to offer.
Oh, sure you did. Yeah. Especially now with these boyfriends. I hadn't heard that before.
Did she tell you about her bootlegging experience?
No, she didn't remember bootlegging.
She didn't remember that.
Mama, tell them about when you went bootlegging with Dad. And you came in at 7 o'clock in the morning. You don't remember?
What?
When you went down the mountain and river bootlegging with Dad, the bootleggers were out and you had to hide in the bottom of the truck?
Yeah, I remember that. We have a lot of memories.
Yeah, well, she brought Lana in here too. She could have reminded us about all those things.
Yeah. Because I asked her what her mother said when she came in at 7 o'clock in the morning, because we weren't allowed to come in at 7 o'clock.
Oh, it was before they were married?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was
She went
before,
out on
that was before she got married.
Oh, yeah, they went out to dance, and the girls wanted to go with them when they went to the mouth of the river, bootlegging, or whatever. Pick up a shipment, and the bootleggers or the hijackers were out. So she had to hide, the girls had to hide from the bottom of the truck because they were in trouble. The guys would have gotten in trouble for bringing them. And they couldn't get out of there till 7 in the morning when she got home. And so I said, well, what did your mother say when you came in at 7 in the morning? She said, well, once I explained to her what happened, she understood. I said, oh, yeah, you're going to bring it on bootlegging.
Hey, why don't you tell Lana about the what you remember about the prohibition? About didn't they put some of the whiskey or something in the bedroom?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Mama used to rub us down with 200 proof all the way, all our life.
Yeah, I was sleeping there with, I guess it must have been 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. Boy, they woke me up. Daddy said, go in the other room. And they come in and they just fill that back room. You know what, in our house, that back room where we stayed, filled it up. Oh, well, they might have had 3 or 4 foot between the top and the bottom. Anyway, they stayed there about 2 months.
With whiskey?
Yeah, it was whiskey's, Havana?
Havana,
Yeah.
Cuba.
Cuba, yeah. And then they come in there one night early, and they come in, man, they had their shotguns, you know, and they were waiting for the hijackers. I guess they thought the hijackers might take it. I believe it was Seattle. I don't know if y'all remember Seattle. Seattle. They used to own that place down there. Seattle. You don't remember Seattle?
Run what place?
Well, he was the man that brought the liquor in.
Ah, okay.
You know,
He was the head.
yeah, kind of head.
I know some of Nicole Conovich's family, you know, which would have been, I guess, about your age, maybe a little bit older. They talk about going down the river and putting bottles into burlap bags as they're going down the boat and throwing them off on the side, and so that they could come back later on and pick them up. And you know, they were prohibiting. Well, they were selling the main bulk of it, but that was kind of the family's bottles that they were throwing off the side. Yeah. So apparently it was pretty widely done at that time. There wasn't a whole lot of anything else to do. That was even before Facebook.
Well, the local sheriff would look out and warn them when the feds were coming. You know, locals.
I'm not surprised. Down there.
Oh, we had some light moments along the way.
Last thing I went down with, he was courting Rosie and this fella Feet. Remember Feet? He was courting this Malawi girl down there. They went down to yours, and that night they were coming back up, and they had these hijackers on the side of the road with their guns. And Lester got scared, man. They ducked down, they stepped on the gas, and they luckily didn't shoot him. They must have recognized the car. They probably was looking for a certain car, and Lester didn't get by. He said, boy, that old boy was scared, he was scared, I was scared.
You turned white, huh? Well, I guess we've got to get going. Maybe we can come back.